Hello everyone, this is Tammy Wilgenbush from Card Designs by Tammy, and I am taking a break from making Christmas cards today and playing with one of the new stamp sets that will be in our January through June 2022 mini catalog. And we were able to pre-order some items from there, and this was one of them that I chose to do, and it is called Daffodil Daydream, and it is a very cute set. It has two large flower stamps with a little butterfly, a Happy Mother's Day and Easter blessing stamps, and then a couple, that one that splotches will make a really nice background, and then kind of a border stamp there. So very cute stamp set, and it comes with matching dies. And one of the reasons that I wanted to do this video was because you can probably tell here these dies are very busy. I was very overwhelmed when I first opened them up and saw all the different parts, but once we kind of break them down, it is actually much more manageable, and that's kind of what I wanted to do today, is to break all of it down, show you all the pieces, show you how they are actually able to be assembled, so you can see how easy it really is. Now, one of the things with this stamp set is once January rolls around, in addition to the mini catalog coming out January 4th, Celebration will also start through Stampin' Up! On January 4th. And for those of you who aren't aware of Stampin' Up!, we have lots of different catalogs and stamps and coordinating paper. And 2 times a year, we also do a, quite honestly, a very awesome sale. What it entails is if you spent, for every $50 you purchase, you can choose an item from the Celebration catalog. And that is actually where I got this paper from. It often will have papers and some stamp sets. Most of the items in the Celebration catalog are $50. There are a couple items that are free with a $100 purchase, so they kind of have a level 1, and they only have like 2 level 2s that are kind of a little bit bigger. But this paper here, and what is it called? Daffodil Afternoon, will actually coordinate with the Daffodil Dream bundle. So I actually was able to get in advance, and it is very pretty double-sided paper. And I'll just kind of show it to you. I did do an unboxing where I kind of showed a bunch of different things, but just to kind of show you how this coordinates with the stamp set. So some pretty designs. This one I'm really excited about trying to use. On the one hand, it's a little overwhelming, but you know, cut it in half and you can make just a very cute background for a card. And it just has a nice neutral backdrop. So most of the papers have a beautiful, very bright, vibrant, detailed side, and then often the back side is just a little bit more neutral. And this was the paper that I decided to use today, and I'm using the heart side. And this is one of the other ones, and just kind of nice neutral background. Admittedly, this one here is probably my least favorite sheet. Just kind of black on the background. I'm not a huge yellow person. I tend to like pinks and purples and pastels. So I'm not so sure about this side. It seems a little bit busy. The black, this will be nice and neutral, and I think I'll be able to use it with things. I just don't often use black on cards. So we'll see. I'll have to find a creative way to use that piece. But the rest of the pieces are just really pretty. And so very nice. And some of the colors that coordinate with this, it's Evening Evergreen, Daffodil Delight with Crushed Curry, kind of a slightly darker yellow, let's see, I think it's Pale Papaya, Pear Pizzazz. It actually says right here, Olive and Mossy Meadow, and Flirty Flamingo. And it's very vanilla, and you'll see I'm on my sample card today I used white, and I realized there was something off about it. I have pre-cut out all of the dies here so that you can kind of see how they all go together. And again, there's a lot going on here and I'll kind of walk you through it all. So some of these longer ones here, we have basically stems for the actual buds of the daffodils. I can't pick it up. And the nice thing about this stamp set is, number one, it looks really busy, but a lot of the dies are duplicates, which means you can cut out multiples at a time, which is really nice. The other thing that I really like is that they have the stems and the leaves going both directions. So that is super nice. You don't have to worry about trying to flip it and not having it look nice. You can have the flowers going whichever way you like, which I really like. So these go to these long ones here. Make sure you can see it there. And then there are two kind of just other leaves, and they go to these two right here. So those are nice, and honestly you can put all of them kind of on the on at once with the Stampin' Cut machine and kind of run it all through at once, and you don't have to run through as much. So like all of these pieces you could easily get, if you wanted them the same color, which I did on my other card, my sample card, is just line them all up and run them all through at once. So really slick. So then the rest of these pieces have lots of layering to them. So I figured I would start with these here. So these are kind of some buds for the daffodils, and you can see you have an open one that's kind of a background, and then this, which will give you more of the accent. And I did kind of opposite colors here just so you could kind of see how they layer and how they punch out. And so really it's just super easy. It just layers right over the top, and then you just glue it down. So very slick. And again, it prints out, it cuts, since there's multiples, you can cut them all out at the same time. So I was able to, in one swoop, do all of the backgrounds, and then in the other, do all of the accent pieces, and then I was done. So 2 times, and I was done with it. So that's very nice. These other 3 petal pieces here, you have 2 of them, and then you have this one here that is the coordinating that goes over it, that layers. So this is what those look like cut out. And there is a specific way that you want to layer them, and I kind of played with it for a while and tried to figure out, okay, how am I going to remember which way goes the best? And so what I tried to look at here is, if you look at these 3 petals, there's one that kind of has a little notch in it. It looks a little bit bigger than the others, and it kind of has a little notch and comes to a point. That coordinates with this one here that has this kind of claw-like area there. So we'll see if I can remember that, but that's kind of how I figured out that it lines up the best. Now, I think on one of my other ones, I accidentally lined them up a different way, and there is another way that they kind of work, but if you do this one this way, it does line up pretty perfectly, and there's no overhangs. Again, looking for the little claw and the one with the notch, and those just go right over each other. And then what you do is then you just layer these on top of each other, and then you get the background petals of a daffodil, and then you put your little bud right on top of that. So, and you'll see I'll actually do it on my card, but that's kind of how they all go together. So honestly, it's very overwhelming to look at, but they go together very slick. It's actually very easy once you kind of break it down. One of the biggest things is trying to figure out how you get all of the dies to fit in that little jigsaw puzzle. So one of the other pieces that we have, for the main flowers, are this piece here that kind of has the bud thing on the bottom with the 3 petals coming up, and then this here that you can tell will kind of go right over it. So these 2 dies, they punch out these, so the background and then that overlay part here. And it, again, this one's easier to line up. It just goes right over it there, and you just glue that down. It took me a little bit to figure out what this was, so I printed it out or I die cut it out in a different color because I wasn't sure exactly what these 2 pieces did, which is this piece here and then this piece right there. And so these, of course, layer right on top of each other. And again, there is a specific way that they go. Yep, there we go. Now, what these actually do is they actually go behind this piece here so that they layer right like that. So actually you'd want to cut it out in the same colors as the daffodil because it's actually part of the daffodil. I just wasn't sure at first. So I had to kind of play around and look at the pictures in the catalog, and finally was able to figure out what exactly that did. So that's how those layer together, and then one of the buds here would just go again right over that. And again, once I get everything glued down, you'll see kind of how slick and pretty that looks. And then depending on which way you're going, then you'd layer it with the stem. And so that's kind of how the final flower would look. So very, honestly, easier than I thought when I first look at them all once you get everything cut out. Now this piece here is just another little bud. Flower bud, so daffodil that hasn't bloomed, and that goes over just like that. And so that is, where is it? This bowling pin looking piece here, and then that piece there. So that cuts out those 2 pieces there, which again go on top of each other and can be just another little sort of a little bud. And let's see, what else do we have? One of the other things we have is a butterfly. And so this larger butterfly will stamp out the butterfly in the, let me get my, will punch out this butterfly here. So you can stamp it and punch it out or die cut it out if you want, or if you use these 2 pieces, you can, sorry, I get all my pieces here, get this layering butterfly here. These pieces are so tiny, it's hard for me to pick up. You can get the layering butterfly so that it would layer just like that. So you can do that. And then they have this cute little tiny die there that actually makes the body, oops, for the butterfly. Don't know if you can see it there, but it would just go right over the top there and layer a cute little butterfly. So that is those pieces there. So let's see. So then one of the ones I haven't shown you yet is just this little flower, and I haven't cut this out, but again, you can tell this would just be a little background flower that you could put on things. And then we do have these larger dies here, and these will cut out the stamps here. So this one would go with the single flower, and let's see if I can grab it here without disturbing everything. This larger one here obviously would go with the one with the 3 flowers. So you could stamp the image and cut out the flowers as well. So yeah, so that is all of the different pieces there and how they cut everything out. So it seems like a lot, but they actually go together pretty quickly, much faster than I thought, and are very easy to work with. So that is the dies. So these are the Daffodil dies that come in a bundle, or you can buy separately from the Daffodil Daydream. That will be in the new catalog, Stampin' Up's new catalog coming out in January. So I hope that is helpful to figure out how they all go together. I know it's always helpful for me to see that, because when you have so many different parts, it's very difficult to identify sometimes how they all go together. So now I want to show you just a quick little card. And so I'm going to move all those pieces off to the side and bring in all of my pieces for my card here. And I have done some pre-layering just to make it go a little bit faster. But this is the card that we're going to make. And I have changed it up. Like I said, once I layered it all, I was like, why does that look off? And then I realized that this is a very vanilla background, and so I used white. So this sample uses very vanilla, and it actually will go much better. So what I have done is I have a card base that is Mellow Moss, or Mossy Meadow, sorry, Mossy Meadow. And then I cut a piece of this shade of the Designer Series paper in 4 by 5 1/4. Sorry, 4 by 5 1/4. So it'll be a layering mat just right on top of the card front. And then I have pre-cut all of my little pieces. The flowers and stems, or the leaves and stems, are in Mossy Meadow. And then I have the background images are in Daffodil Delight. And the smaller pieces are in Crushed Curie. So I have pre-put some of them together just to make it go a little bit faster, but I will, and here is the assembled butterfly. So you can see how it goes together. I decided to use it for this one. But I have left these 3 to put together just to show you again how they actually layer on top of each other. Now I would use liquid glue, or I was debating about using adhesive sheets for these, which probably could work. But one thing I'm hesitant about, and I might try it, but the adhesive sheets are so sturdy, I don't know if they'd give you wiggle room. And so, you know, to make sure everything lines up, sometimes it takes a little bit to set it into place. So I'm going to use liquid glue. Now you could use green glue. When I'm doing these fine little pieces here, I like to use Stampin' Up's fine tip glue pen. I just find that the tip works better for all of these little areas here. So let me glue this up, and I will show you how easy these go together. If I can pick them up. I think the biggest thing is going to be picking them up with my nails. And I might have put a little too much glue on this, but that's okay. Luckily, this glue doesn't seem to. If you get too much of it and it comes out the sides, it seems to kind of wipe up pretty easily. Come on. There we go. So there's that one. I'm going to let it dry a little bit. And then let's do this one. And again, I'm looking for the claw shape, and it goes over that one. So let's see if I can remember where it all goes. So where's the claw? There's the claw. Claw's going to go over that one. There we go. And this here that I'm using underneath of is Stampin' Up's silicone sheet, and it is awesome when you're doing detailed gluing like this because glue doesn't stick to it. And so when you're doing glue like this, if you happen to get glue on the silicone, it won't stick. Like if I wasn't using it and was using my paper, and then the glue might dry and or might stick to the papers and stuff as I'm doing the rest of my projects, whereas this won't. The glue kind of dries immediately and then it's not sticky. So it's definitely was a good investment. Okay, so now and then I will start layering all the pieces on top of each other, and you'll be able to see just how slick everything goes together. And layering them is easier because it doesn't have quite these little fine details. So those are all I need this glue for. Okay, let's see here. Now let's start actually layering the daffodils. So let's start with this one first. And I kind of told you before that this layers behind, come on, there we go, this piece right here. So I just put some glue right in the middle, and then I'm just going to line it up there and hold it for just a second to make sure that the glue sets. Then you just take one of these flowers and put it right on the top. So again, I'm just trying to get some right in the middle there because not all of it's going to sit. So just trying to make sure that there's some right where it's going to sit there. And some glue's coming out the bottom, but that's okay because I'll be putting a dimensional on it. So that is how that one goes together. Now these will layer. Let me kind of figure out how I want to layer them. I'm going to have that one in the back because that one, and I think they can go any way, but you know, I think that there is just going to be a way that they kind of sit a little bit better. Ooh, I like that. All right, I'm just going to put some glue right in the middle there. The nice thing about this green or Tombow glue is that it's permanent and very sticky. So sometimes, since it is liquid, you got to kind of hold it. It does give you a little wiggle room, which I like, but you know, sometimes you want to make sure to hold it to make sure things don't wiggle when you don't want them to wiggle. Okay, and then this will just again go over. I'm just gonna put some glue right in the middle there and figure out how I want that. Kind of want it off to the top there. Okay, so that is how all of these layer on top of each other to get the pretty daffodils. So, and then we have how the layering works with the butterfly as well. So that's how they go together. They're actually pretty easy, so it's very nice. Okay, this I think is going to be the hardest part, because I decided that I wanted to try to kind of overlap my stems so that they come together, so you can kind of like tie it as a little bunch. That's what I was going for. But sometimes it's kind of difficult to get all these pieces in there and figure out how they're going to all coordinate. There we go. Ah. So I'm just going to kind of get it started here, set up how I want things. I kind of want this one a little bit lower, and then I will try to deconstruct and construct it again with how I want it all to go and how all the pieces will kind of layer. And then I kind of had one in the middle there, and then that one kind of there, and that one like that. So there. So yeah, so kind of layering like that. So let me try to move these to the side and get these all glued down. So again, I'm kind of using the Tombow glue. I don't know, maybe I should use the other. Again, I kind of want that flower a little bit lower. And let's try to do it so it's going to overlap there. Now let's do this one. I want that one taller, but I have to kind of put that there because I can't have it too tall, or else the flower will poke off the page. And I want to try to make sure that it's overlapping there. And then this one. And again, won't take a lot of the glue. I want to be very careful not to have too much of the glue there. There. And that one's going over there. So one of these will be kind of right in the middle. And then this one. And one more. And then the flowers I will actually put on with dimensionals. Although it probably doesn't need dimensionals because there already is a lot of dimension with them. I still like to use dimensionals, so I will. Okay. Before I do anything else, I'm going to cut the stems off. So it is nice to, you know, make sure to do this before you adhere the paper or the designer series paper to the card front, which I was going to put a bow or ribbon around them to begin with, so I wasn't going to, but just good to remember because you will want to tack all those down. Now I actually am going to tie my ribbon before I put on the rest of the card. And a trick that I heard on YouTube, which does work very well, is to tie your ribbon upside down. And I also tie it while it is still on the spool because you tend to waste less ribbon then, because you're just cutting off the little portion that you're cutting off right where you don't need instead of having to cut too much extra. Although I did make this side a lot longer than I needed, but then you're not wasting ribbon on the other side as well. So do a nice tight bow, and I want kind of a nice larger bow there. Get my paper snips to trim that bow. And this ribbon is, it's runched ribbon. It's runched Daffodil Delight, and it is a retired ribbon, but it is in clearance right now, and works beautifully on this card. So I was really happy to use it. But so it is retired, but it is in clearance, so it is still available. And so then I'm just moving the bow down so that it kind of looks that it is, like I said, kind of holding those little bunch of flowers together. I just really like that. Okay, so now I'm going to use dimensionals to put these on. And put this flower down about right there, so it's just overlapping slightly. And then put a few dimensionals on here. If you notice with the dimensionals, I'm kind of putting it on, well, this one I didn't put it on the bottommost layer. I put it on the second bottom layer, and this one I'm just putting it on the one bottommost layer. So, and that is a nice thing with these, is the overlays are difficult to glue, but once you get them on there, there's a lot of substance to make sure that the flowers themselves get glued or dimensioned to the page. Very easy. So there we go. And then I did not use one of the sentiments. I just felt it was a little too early for happy birthday or Mother's Day or Easter. And since I would like to use this card before then, I decided to use a happy birthday. And so what I did is this stamp is from the Happy Thoughts that is retired. It was in the previous mini catalog that was January through June 2021. But I just really liked the happy birthday, and I punched it out in Very Vanilla with the tailored tag punch. This is probably my favorite punch, and one reason that it's my favorite punch is because it really does allow a little bit of a mat. So what I also did is then I punched this using crushed curry, and then I basically just cut it in half and then adhered it there. So it looks like it gives it just a little pop of color, which I really like, because then my sentiment doesn't just disappear in the background. So I love using the tailored tag because it lets me do that. And let me get a couple dimensionals on this. And put this right over to the side here. And then I'm also going to throw little dimensional onto my little butterfly here. and put this little guy just probably right down over here. So pretty. Now I'm ready to glue it to my card base. It's kind of bulky, but that's okay. Glue works well. It would be difficult to put Stampin' Seal Plus on this because it is so bulky, but the liquid glue goes on really well. It doesn't matter the bulk. You're not pushing on it, so that works well. And then we're just going to layer that right on top of there. And the outside we are going to finish with a little brushed brass butterflies. Now this will also be in the new mini catalog. Again, I actually got this as a gift for going to On Stage at Home, which is Stampin' Up's yearly kind of convention. So they were very generous and sent us actually a stamp set, a spool of ribbon, and these brushed brass butterflies. So they will be available in January. And these are so cute. They're just going to be very, very. They're already have the sticky on them, so they're self-adhesive. They're have some nice substance to them, but actually they're not too thick, so it makes it really nice. And I just needed one on there. I could put more if I wanted, but I just want one. So that is the outside of the card. Now for the inside, because we always got to stamp the inside and the envelope. I wanted to use this really pretty border and show you how pretty it was. Now, I was going to stamp one of the flowers in here, and then I decided that I wanted to try to use this border. So I am using crushed curry. My other one, I used the Daffodil, I think it's just Daffodil Delight. Yep, Daffodil Delight. But I decided I wanted this one to be a little bit darker. So just going to stamp it right down there at the bottom. And then technically at the top here. Yeah, that one I got a little bit lopsided, so this one I'll see if I can't get a little bit more centered. Okay, there we go. And then I'm just going to do kind of right at the bottom here. Just kind of try to get it right in the middle. And then I think I'll do it on the flap as well. Yeah, ooh, that's actually really pretty. So just adds a little bit something extra. And I will clean this off with my simple chamois so I don't forget. Close the ink so I don't forget. Now I could do another saying on the inside if I want, but I don't think I'm going to. I'm just going to take this and just glue it right to the inside of my card. And then we will be done. So what do you guys think? You'll have to let me know. Like I said, I will say that the dies, they went together much easier than I thought they would. I thought it would be really difficult. I was really intimidated when I first took these out. But once I kind of broke it down and really looked at them, they go together so slick, and I just think that those are so stinking cute. I just really like this, and I love the paper. So I love flowers. So those of you who don't like flowers, maybe this won't be your thing, but I just tend to love flower stamp sets, and so this was. I think will be one of my favorites. So those are the cards, and again, this is the Daffodil Daydream, and I can't wait. These will be really fun to actually color with Stampin' Blends too. So I will have to probably do that, but really just wanted to take some time and show you guys, you know, step by step how you can use those dies and how nicely they go together. So I really hope that was helpful. I hope you love these cards, and feel free to comment if you have any questions. And like I said, the new mini catalog will be coming out in January. You would get these through your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. If you don't have a demonstrator, feel free to contact me. I'll put my information, my link to my blog, so that you can go and find out additional information. And it also has my email if you want to contact me, or feel free to comment below. And I will say we can only mail and have those available within the United States, since I am personally in the United States. So you do have to be a US customer in order for me to send that to you. But otherwise, I hope you like this, and I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And this was kind of a nice break from making Christmas cards, but I will get back out my Christmas cards. So everybody have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Bye.